Join us now, Republican Congressman Mike Lawler of New York. Congressman, we won't get you to weigh in on that unless you really, really want to.
He might.
He may. And he's welcome to. We actually do want to get you on the new congestion pricing plan here in New York in just a moment. But first, we want to get your thoughts on a conversation we've been having all morning long. It is, of course, the 4-year anniversary of the January 6th riot at the Capitol. There will be no such insurrection today. We expect the proceedings to go by peacefully. This time, Donald Trump won. Joe just read from the Wall Street Journal at an opinion page a moment ago talking about the pardons that he has promised to give so many of those who were convicted after what they did on January 6th. What are your thoughts? Would those pardons be appropriate, particularly for those who were convicted of violent offenses?
Look, I was the first Republican in New York to condemn what happened on January 6, 2021. That day, it was my first day in the state legislature up in Albany. And it was wrong. It never should have happened. I've been very clear about that. And I have long believed that anyone who engaged in violence at the Capitol, or as Reverend Al pointed out just a few minutes ago, those that engaged in violence in the aftermath of George Floyd, whether they stormed, the courthouse in Portland or burned a police station in the ground in Minneapolis, everyone should be held to account for their conduct. So I have always believed that. I've been firm in that. I don't believe people should, be pardoned had they committed violence. If there's a specific case where somebody may have been overcharged, fine, that should be reviewed. But the reality is that if somebody engaged in violence at the Capitol on January 6th, they should deal with the consequences of that.
Congressman, let's talk about congestion pricing now. And it's split a lot of New Yorkers, and I understand. I mean, it is really hard on commuters, and it's very difficult for a lot of people getting in and out of New York City that just can't afford this new tax. I do wonder, though, as you drive around New York and you look at it, seems like everything was built during the Depression, right? It seems like so much of the infrastructure there is 70, 80, 90, 100 years old and needs updating, needs renovating. If not congestion pricing, then what do New Yorkers do? What do we all do to keep that infrastructure up to date?
Well, first, New York got $100 billion from the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And the state, frankly, has done a horrible job of releasing those funds for infrastructure improvements, not just in New York City, but across the state. Secondarily, the MTA, which is the worst-run authority in America, and as I fundamentally believe needs an enema, the fact is the MTA loses $700 million a year from people who refuse to pay to ride the subway. They jump the turnstile. They refuse to pay. And in fact, you just saw a video of two men jumping the turnstile moments before a man was pushed right in front of an oncoming subway car. Fortunately, he survived. But the fact is, it encapsulates exactly what the problem is. In New York and in the subway system. Crime is up on the subways. Murders are up over 60% on the subways. We saw a woman be burned alive. People do not feel safe to ride the subway system, which is part of the reason why revenue is down for the MTA. But let's be clear, this is a scam, congestion pricing. It has nothing to do with reducing congestion. It has nothing to do with the environment. It has everything to do with the MTA raising $1 billion in revenue so that it can borrow $15 billion more. This is an authority that is already tens of billions of dollars in debt and has individual borrowing authority. It needs to be completely overhauled. I absolutely agree there needs to be infrastructure upgrades, but this is a scam. The fact is, Governor Hochul is charging the average New Yorker $2,500 more to drive into the city to go to work on an annual basis And meanwhile, she's spending billions of dollars in taxpayer money on free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care for illegal immigrants. So if we want to talk about priorities, if we want to talk about investing in New York's outdated and antiquated infrastructure, we have to look at how New York is spending its money to begin with. They've increased state spending from $178 billion just 4 years ago to $239 billion, and now they need another $1 billion from hardworking commuters. Doesn't make a lot of sense, Joe.
Well, Congressman, let's push you a little bit on this. I mean, you say you're obviously very critical of the MTA just now, but say you do want infrastructure improvements, repairs. If not congestion pricing, where does that money come from?
Right.
How do you propose the state do pay for these things? And we also know that, as in other cities, London, for instance, congestion pricing has made an impact on traffic. There's been an environmental impact. So why are you discounting that? How do you pay for all this?
I would strongly disagree with it being proven to work in London. But here's fundamentally, you're not going to reduce congestion. In fact, what you're going to do is shift it. So areas in the Bronx, for instance, where they have among the highest asthma rates in the world, you are going to have traffic move there for people to commute down into central and lower Manhattan. But the funding is very simple. Every year, as I said before, the MTA loses $700 million from people who refuse to pay to use the actual system. So you can start by enforcing your fare, number one. Number two, as I just pointed out, New York is spending last year $4 billion for free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care for illegal immigrants. Now, New York chose to be a sanctuary state and city. So, of course, people are going to come here. The fact is that these are policy choices that New York makes. I'll give you another one. New York spends $100 million on taxpayer funds for campaign finance. They have a matching funds program, welfare for politicians. So take that $100 million, put it towards the MTA. There's no reason to pay for political campaigns with taxpayer money. So there's a lot that New York can do in a $239 billion budget, up $61 billion over 4 years, to actually prioritize the MTA. In addition, the MTA needs a full audit, and the MTA needs to have a complete overhaul, starting with removal of all of its management. Jano Lieber needs to go. The fact that this guy was celebrating the start of congestion pricing on top of a cherry picker the other day, as if, for some bizarre reason, he thought as a unelected bureaucrat that he should be celebrating fleecing hardworking New Yorkers of their money. It's bizarre. The MTA needs a complete overhaul. There's a lot of ways to fund its operations and its capital improvements, but fleecing hardworking New Yorkers out of $2,500 annually is not one of them.
Republican Congressman Mike Lawler of New York, thank you for being with us. We look forward to you coming back and announcing your run for governor sometime soon. When's that going to be?
We'll look midsummer. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We hope to have you on
I don't know.
many times before then, but maybe you can make the announcement here. Thank you so much, Congressman. Greatly appreciate it.